Hatter drives big yellow school bus. Strikes Jabberwolk, Beamish boy in midst of battle. Turning the Mad Tea Party into a big yellow school bus road trip, I think will add a lot of new adventure and excitement to the tired old original. Nobody drives school bus like the Mad Hatter. Nobody. Wherever I go, said the Hatter, I turn the place upside down ballistic. I like this school bus, said the pink RX Weasel. Within the speed limit, right side up. You sound like a nurse, said the Hatter. I am a nurse, said the RX Weasel. A brain scientist told me this exercise would improve my short-term memory and long-term focus, said the Hatter. You must have been talking with, said the Dormouse, with a little green man. That person must, said the RX Weasel, have been referencing a video game. Whatever I do, said the Hatter, it's not a video game. It's an arts event. Please don't throw us into a splatter painting, said the pink RX Weasel. Life has thrown me under the bus, said the Hatter, as he swerved the bus once again. Now I am driving the bus, and no one can splatter me. Why is it you remind me so much of Jack Nicholson, said the Weasel. A lot of people try to imitate me, said the Hatter. When I floor this big yellow, nobody can even come close. Sitting on the right-hand side of the big yellow school bus, as close to the front as he could get, the Mock Turtle sighed deeply and drew the back of one flapper across his eyes. He looked at the Hatter, who was driving, and tried to speak, but terror choked his voice. At the opposite end of the big yellow school bus, at the very back, looking exactly like a couple of great schoolboys, sat Tweedledum and Tweedledee. The fat little men looked at each other and grinned as they swayed from side to side to try and get the vehicle off course. It was getting dark so suddenly that everyone on board the Hatter's big yellow school bus thought there must be a thunderstorm coming on. As he gunned the big yellow school bus as hard as he could, the Hatter clenched the steering wheel and began to recite poetry. Tweedledum and Tweedledee agreed to have a battle, for Tweedledum and Tweedledee had spoiled his nice new rattle. Just then flew down a monstrous crow, as black as a tar barrel, which frightened both the heroes so they quite forgot their quarrel. But a thick black cloud that is, said the pink RX Weasel to the Hatter. And how fast it comes. Why, I do believe it's got wings. It's the crow, Tweedledum cried out in a shrill voice of alarm from the back of the bus. The two got under their seats as best they could, as fast as they could. No crow is ever going to give me the bird, said the Hatter. The monstrous crow lifted the big yellow school bus right off the road and about 50 feet in the air and turned it around a couple of times. Then, bus wheels still spinning, motor running at full speed, exhausted because it was so heavy, it set the vehicle back down on the road. The crow was so tired it collapsed on the road in front of the bus. The Hatter drove the big yellow school bus right through it and over it. The bus bumped up and down a couple of times. There was a great squishing sound. The Hatter just gritted his teeth and was more determined. You know, said the Hatter to the pink RX Weasel as the bus sped along, when Lewis Carroll wrote Alice in Wonderland, he made one big mistake. I didn't see any, said the Weasel said very gently. He didn't make it a road book. I am correcting that now. I rather like the original Alice in Wonderland, said the pink RX Weasel rather meekly. Well, you were in the sequel, said the Hatter, and you are going to be tasty. What do you mean by that? Asked the Weasel. Just wait till we get back to the tea party, said the Hatter. I'm in no hurry, said the pink RX Weasel in a timid, frightened voice. You can slow down. The Hatter deliberately speeded the big yellow school bus up. We're having a Noah's Ark pizza, swamp cabbage, frog, alligator, topped with fresh python. Guess who the topping will be? I hope it isn't slithy toad, said the Weasel. They so love gyring and gimbling in the way. You, said the Hatter. Will it be like stepping out of a cake, said the Weasel. No, said the Hatter, don't make me laugh. The pink RX Weasel's teeth chattered. Ha ha, said the Hatter Turtle as he hunched over the steering wheel the big yellow school bus as he skidded around a corner. "Got that one good, didn't I?" said he, making faces and speaking in an asinine of a voice as he could. Soaring from one side of the road to the other, he began to recite poetry. "'Twas brillig and the slithy toes did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves and the mome raths outgrabe." At the conclusion of this stanza, as the bus roared on, he honked a horn and opened and closed the passenger door for emphasis. Tee-hee! Ah! Mome raths and borogoves, perfect toppings for a pizza. Ahead of her she saw a mome rath and a borogove just finishing crossing the road. The pink RX weasel grimaced. "Ah, missed the roadkill," shouted the Hatter as he swerved to deliberately hit them. Then on he went with his recital in as ridiculous of a tone of voice as he could. "Beware the Jabberwolk, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jub bird and shun the frumious Bandersnatch." "Ho, ho, 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 ho," he shouted as once again he sounded the horn and opened and slammed the door vigorously. He turned the ignition on and off a couple of times to make the vehicle backfire. On he recited. "He took a vorpal's sword in hand, long time the manxome foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought." "Ha, ha, ha, ha," laughed the Hatter. What a kid, what a kid. Go, foe, go. "Am I ever going to have a pizza?" He hit the gas and continued his recital. And in an uffish thought he stood. The Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tulgey wood and burbled as it came. "Burble, burble, burble," shouted the Hatter, honking his horn loud and hard before again opening and slamming the passenger door. As they rounded a bend, suddenly the big yellow school bus hit both the Beamish boy and the Jabberwocky, knocking them through the ground. The two combatants got up and began dusting themselves off. "You've got in the way of my bus," said the Hatter, and he took a swing at the Beamish boy. The boy was younger and stronger and easily decked the Hatter. Picking him up swiftly, the Jabberwock threw the Beamish boy to the ground and fell after him into the mud. The pink RX weasel had been sitting in the bus anxiously behind them all this time, trying to think of a way to stop it all, leaped into action. Pink RX cape filled with medical stuff flying in the air, she descended upon the two with her wound care supplies. Miraculously, they all suffered only minor harm, and she soon had them medicated and patched up. "I guess I broke up the fight," said the Hatter. "I guess you did," said the pink RX weasel. "I guess you did." "I saved the Jabberwock's life," said the Hatter. "Not that I meant to." The pink RX weasel kissed the Jabberwock. "Aw," said the Hatter, "I never thought I'd see a kissy-faced Jabberwock." "I think," said the Dormouse, who had just crept out of the bus after them, "that you should some day get your driver's license." "Don't bother me with paperwork," said the Hatter. "Haven't you seen how many napkins I've torn up to pieces at the tea party over the years?" "Here," said the pink RX weasel, "is your medication." No thanks to the Hatter's driving skills. "'Twas billig, and the slithy toes did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe." The Hatter started big yellow bus up again. The pink RX weasel and Dormouse were reluctant to get on again, understandably. "I was just kidding about the pizza," said the Hatter. "We'll have more bread and butter." "Would there yet be roadkill?"